My name is Amina, and for a long time, I didn't like being seen. I'm 16 years old, and at school, I was known, but not in a good way. People didn't know me for my drawings, or my thoughts, or the things I loved. They knew me for my body. The fat girl. That's what they called me. The jokes, the whispers, the laughter, it followed me everywhere. Sometimes it was loud. Sometimes it was just looks. But either way, it hurt. Lunch was the hardest part of my day. The cafeteria would be full of noise. People laughing, talking, sharing food, and I would just sit there, alone, pretending to scroll on my phone, pretending I didn't care. But inside, I felt like I didn't belong anywhere. Sometimes I would eat too much. Sometimes I wouldn't eat at all. And either way, I felt worse. At night, I would look at myself in the mirror, and all I could see were the things I hated. I'd compare myself to other girls online. Perfect bodies, perfect smiles, perfect lives. And I'd think, why can't I be like that? I tried to ignore it. I really did. But one night, I just couldn't anymore. I was sitting on my bed, and everything I had been holding inside just came out. I hate how I look, Mom. I feel like I don't belong anywhere. My voice was shaking, and I couldn't stop crying. I thought she would tell me to be strong, or to ignore it, but she didn't. She just sat next to me and held me. And somehow, that made me cry even more. Then she said something I will never forget. Amina, you are not what they say, and you are not just your body. I didn't answer, because part of me didn't believe her. So she looked at me and said, loving yourself doesn't mean you feel perfect every day. It means you choose not to hate yourself. That stayed with me. The next day at school, nothing really changed. Same people, same whispers. But something inside me felt different. Not stronger, not confident, just aware. So I decided to try something small. In class, the teacher asked a question, and for once, I actually knew the answer. My heart was racing. I almost didn't do it. But then, I slowly raised my hand. My voice shook when I spoke, but I still said it. And something surprising happened. No one laughed. That moment was small, but to me, it meant everything. A few days later, we had group work in class, and I got paired with two girls, Layla and Sarah. Normally, I would stay quiet, let them do everything. But this time, I tried. I can do the design part, I said. They looked at me and asked me to show them. So I opened my sketchbook, and I waited for them to laugh. But they didn't. They smiled. These are amazing, one of them said. You're really talented. I didn't know what to say. No one had ever said that to me before. That was the first time I felt seen. After that, things didn't change overnight. But slowly, they started sitting with me, talking to me, laughing with me. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't sitting alone at lunch. Not everyone was nice. Some people still whispered, still laughed. But this time, I wasn't alone. And that made a difference. At home, I kept talking to my mom. Some days were still hard. Some days I still looked in the mirror and didn't like what I saw. But I stopped being so harsh on myself. I stopped calling myself names. And slowly, I started accepting who I was. Not perfect, not confident all the time, but real. One day, I stood in front of the mirror again. Same face, same body. But this time, I didn't look away. I just stood there, and I said quietly, "I'm okay." It wasn't a big moment, but it was real. Weeks later, my artwork was displayed at school. People were looking at it, talking about it, and someone asked, "Who made this?" My friends pointed at me, and for once, I didn't want to hide. I stepped forward. Yeah, I did. I still have bad days. I still hear the whispers sometimes. But now, I hear something else too. My mom's voice, my friends, and slowly, my own, telling me, "You are more than enough." I'm still me, still learning, still growing. But I'm not trying to disappear anymore.